Hello and welcome back to Murders, Mysteries and More. Now today we're diving into a strange and unsettling mystery that has baffled investigators and beachgoers alike. The Salish Sea Feet. Now the beaches around the Salish Sea are nestled between Western Canada and Washington State, and they're renowned for their natural beauty. Beachcombers often wander along these shores in search of shells, beach glass, and sometimes even little pieces of pottery. But starting in 2007, something far more gruesome began to wash ashore. Human feet. So, how did the so-called Salish sea feet come to be? Now, for years this question perplexed investigators. There was rumours swirling about serial killers and human traffickers. So yeah, a serial killer that just throws away feet or only takes feet. Interesting. There are a whole bunch of people with weird fetishes everywhere. So while people were thinking about rumours, police did scramble to figure out what was going on and identify the feet and why they ended up on these picturesque beaches. Could it be foul play or something more mundane at work? Now, to understand this mystery, we need to go back in time. And let's go back to the day this mystery began. August 20th, 2007, a 12-year-old girl was walking along a beach on Jedediah Island in British Columbia. She spotted a blue and white running shoe, and upon closer inspection, she discovered that it contained a human foot. Whew, that holiday is probably now going to scar her for life. But this was the first of many feet that ended up washing up on the shores, and less than a week later, a second foot was found on nearby Gabriola Island. And to make things even stranger, both were right feet and both were wearing different shoes, so clearly wasn't the same person. Pesky foot-taking serial killer at work. And more came. Because since that day, in 2007, more than 20 feet were found along the shores of the Salish Sea, both in British Columbia and south in the Puget Sound near Seattle. And most of these feet were encased in tennis shoes, although some were found in hiking boots. And with each discovery, people began to wonder, what's happening? Where are these severed feet coming from? Theories continued to run rampant. Some speculated, as I mentioned, a shadowy serial killer targeting victims, while others thought the feet belonged to drowned migrants or victims of a plane crash or a boat incident. But it's likely there's more a rational explanation. When a body enters the water, it does typically sink. Now, our bodies go through a whole different process of bloating and gases releasing, and that's how some do come up to the surface. But in a huge expanse of water and something as cold as the Salish Sea, decomposition does slow down significantly. So when the bodies go towards the sea floor, they're quickly consumed by marine life, such as crabs and lobsters, thinking, oh, brilliant, I've got a really great tea coming on tonight. Oh, love this. Thanks. And those little creatures can get in, well, mostly anywhere. But sometimes they do have a little trouble getting into, say, your feet, an encased shoe. So they can't quite finish the job. And once they get rid of most of the body, which is the thing that is the heavy weight, and the feet are left in tennis shoes, which are quite buoyant, it's likely that these shoes, along with those feet that are left, are going to be floating to the surface or towards the surface and then carried away by ocean currents onto the beaches. Of course, with so many that were being found, there is going to be that little bit of a myth and legend behind it. But what we do know is that the police did identify some of who these feet belong to, and thanks to the DNA testing, they managed to match many of the feet to missing persons. In fact, most of them belong to individuals who had been missing for over a year, with one foot tracing back to a fisherman who disappeared in 1987. Now, there is also a tragic reality behind many of these individual stories. They died from accidents or suicides, and one foot belonged to a woman who jumped from a bridge And according to British Columbia Coroner's Service, they said that they found nothing suspicious in any of the feet that came above the shore. So while the Salish Sea Mystery does seem eerie at first, it seems to be a natural occurrence, one that's more tragic than sinister. And as the Coroner's Service says, you don't get too many happy stories if you're in the Coroner's Service. But this is about as happy as it gets, because many of these feet had names and identities, and their family could help put these people to rest. But it's still an interesting story, and who knows, we could have another rush of feet on a shoreline near you. So have you come across anything quite gruesome on the seashore while you've been out on holiday? Let me know. Until then, subscribe and like, etc., etc., and stay curious.